Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are doing great. Hope that all is pleasant for you. And most importantly, my friends, hope that you are in good health. Once again, my friends, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. Today I want to talk to you about the biggest, if not the greatest distraction to our world today is religion and government. Government and religion is the greatest distraction to the masses of people in our world today. Not just today, since time immemorial or in ages. It's always been. But without religion, there's no government. And without government, there's no religion. But that can be switched around, because we saw when Vladimir Lenin, the founder of the Communist Party in Russia, came to power, he saw what I'm discussing. And he discovered that in order for Russia as a country to move forward into the future as a great civilization, a great nation, they will have to choose between their government and religion. So what he did, he got rid of religion. And this is not just him. Any country that puts the needs of the people as far as the role that the government is supposed to play in the country, or for the sake of the people, or for the interests of the country, including the people they're in. Any country that does that, they are the fastest growing countries. And you can see that today. Look at China. Religion is not an issue in China, because they understand that this place, this is what I've been saying the whole time, that the earth belongs to man. The earth belongs to us, and it is us. If it's indeed the truth that we are the steward, if it's indeed the truth that humans are designed by the Almighty to replenish, to produce, and to multiply, and to be the steward of this earth, then it is incumbent upon us to make this place our eternal home. Humans have become so civilized and intelligent that they have come up with something called government, only to work in the interest of humanity and the people of these specific countries. So if anything that sets aside or that is established to hinder the progress of humanity, and thereby distracting the progress of humanity, because that's what a religion does. Religion do not allow you to think. You understand? Religion does not allow you to think. Religion allows you to think about things that are abstract. And God is abstract. But God has nothing, I would say for the sake of my video, has nothing to do with the affairs of man. You understand? How do I know this? When there are mass killing, genocide happening in the world, you can see the church praying all they want to pray. They can cry all they want to cry. They can talk all they want to talk. They can preach all they want to preach if they care. But why isn't God comes from whatever? If there's God now, I believe there's an Almighty. It's a spirit. And this spirit lives in each of you. You understand? And the spirit is what quickens you to act. When you see a human being who risks everything, including their life, to speak up for another human being that's being abused, murdered, in the form of genocide. You see people risking their life on flotilla, going to Gaza, risking everything, their life, their children, their family, not just their life, their entire livelihood, to speak up against injustice in one place that they were not born from, they had no connection to it, but they are willing to take that risk with their lives. What do you think is behind that? And I tell you, the drive behind that is the Almighty that's in each of us that allow us to speak up when we see something wrong. You don't just get up. And have you ever gone to bed and all of a sudden your mind is just fixated on something and you can't even sleep? You're thinking about it until you speak up about it before you feel okay. That's not ordinary. There's a reason for these things, that the Almighty is in us. It is us that when we see things that pertaining to this world, our lives and our community, our neighborhood, our countries, and we think they're wrong, when we speak up against these things, it's the Almighty that's quickening us, that's moving us to do these things, to speak up. There's no God coming from nowhere. And the reason why I'm saying is because religion serves no good purpose. They can't even argue. What can they say? They can say what they're preaching to you is going to benefit you in any way or form. They tell you leave all your burden to God. If you live in a country like the country that I live in America, you don't do that. I mean, you can ask for the guidance. That's what I do. Because the God that you're looking for is you. The Almighty that you're looking for is in you. So it will quicken you and steer you towards your goal, towards the things you want to do. That's what we preach here. Religion do not serve no purpose in our lives. It just gives men power to control you, to distract you from your potential. That's what it does. And those countries that say, okay, fine, you can do your religious thing over there, but when it comes to the affairs of men governing this country, you have no say in it. Even in this country, there are leaders, you understand, that are serving in both houses that believe this. Even the president of this country, Trump, believes that religion has no say in the affairs of men. He believes that. And it's not new, because the founding fathers also believed this stuff. I'm not saying religion shouldn't be there. If there are people that want to subscribe to that, good. But when it comes to the affairs of the masses, those things that will benefit the masses, you need to stay away from that. And need to speak the truth. Tell the people that the power that they're looking for is in them. I know if you do, your business is going to dry up quick. If someone is sick, let them go get treatment. If it's something that's incurable, that requires science, technology, that require a doctor, let them go get the help. But don't tell them that someone somewhere, I say a spirit, someone is going to heal them. But let me tell you the secret. The secret is simple. If you're sick, all healings, take it from the Common Sense channel, comes from within. Why is that? Because the God that you're looking for is within you. All you need to do, simple, is believe. That's all. The reason why you're seeking out religion, which is organized, just like government, they have hierarchies. They have stages that you have to gradually get to. It's the same thing with government. Government has hierarchies. You understand? They have stages you have to get to where you want to go. You don't just become a president because someone likes you. You have to go through stages to get there. It's true everywhere in this world. It's the same thing with the church. You don't just get up and become a bishop. You have to have gone through stages To become a bishop, you have to be a deacon first, and then pastor, and then reverend. Then you slowly make your way. What do you call that? Hierarchy. That's government. So those countries that say, you know what, we can exist but not coexist, because government and religion, organized religion, they coexist. One will decide in some setting. In the case of Russia, before Russia allowed religion into the setting, that was after the death of Vladimir Lenin. And then I think Putin is kind of religious. And then in China, it's the same thing. There were Christians in China. A lot of people don't know this. When China was democracy, there were Christians there. They were all religion. It was religion tolerant or religious tolerance in China. But when they talk of China today, they don't talk of China as in the past. They just look at the present. But all of these countries have gone through, but they've come to ask question, what is the role of religion in our world, in our society, in our community? What is the role? Right now, our world is going to go through some serious crisis, especially when it comes to food. Although they're talking about oil right now, but you have to talk about food. Food is essential to the well-being of humanity. With everything that's happening right now, how many religious houses out there? I call them program houses, organized religion, program houses out there. They're talking about growing food. Long time ago, when the church or when organized religion was heavily involved in the community, they were encouraging communities to grow their own food. In fact, they even set an example by growing food. There were churches that owned farmland. There were mosques, religious houses that owned farmland, and they would grow food for the congregant and eventually for the community at large. Today, are they doing that? No. Because government had sold them business. You understand? They're doing it in the form of food pantry. Food pantry is just another way, it's just another social welfare program, which is good, but the church is benefiting from that. The church, in my own view, should not benefit from anything but to give back to the community. Let the people of the church decide that the leaders can be blessed. All of the disciples that they say, and including Jesus himself, that they say they were trying to emulate or be like. All these people had jobs. Even Jesus had a job. He was a carpenter. Peter, Paul, and not Paul, Peter and James and the others, the Johns, they're all workers. They all had jobs. They are salesmen. You understand? So government, in my own view now, because whatever I do on my channel, I take full responsibilities for them. And that's the reason why I don't use no one's material. I use my own materials, my own content, create them. Government role is the enforcer. Yeah, however you want to see it. You know what an enforcer is. Basically, they're the lawman. So they enforce the law. The laws of the country, whatever laws it is out there. They make them, they enforce them, and they interpret them. You understand? Religion, on the other hand, is the one that distracts you from looking at what government must do for you, or from holding government accountable. In the Western world, they have to take care of business. When I say they, I'm talking about the government. They have to do what they have to do because they campaign on these things. But when a society becomes too religious, then it's a leeway for them to not do what they want to do. So you see it? So the more less religious the society is, you can see it however you want to see. The more less a society becomes less religious, the better technological advances they become. And it's true. That's why you see China in less than 60 to 70 years. China is a typical example. That's why I use them. And any one of you can use that too, because in less than 60 years now, they're standing toe to toe with one of the greatest countries the world humanity has ever seen as far as technological advance is concerned. Why is that? Because in China, religion doesn't go toe to toe with the government. They don't believe that superstition. They don't believe superstition. And if you don't know superstition, a religion is superstition, is superstitious, read the read Romans. I think Romans or Ephesians, one of the books, when Paul is talking, I think the Corinthian, when Paul is addressing one of his churches in his epistle, and then he talks to them how superstitious they are. And that's what religion is. Religion is nothing but superstition, believing something that doesn't exist. But the thing that exists is it exists within you, nowhere else. And that's what Jesus was preaching, trying to tell them. And once you discover this, you would see that in order for things to happen for you in your own life, you must be the one to initiate it. You must be the one to think outside the box or inside the box, whatever way you want to think, to make life better for you. That you shouldn't be distracted by religion. I look forward to a day when the religion, organized religion now, because sometimes it's good to be specific when you're talking about religion. Organized religion, because organized religion is government and government is organized religion. They are both the same. Why? Because they are hierarchies within the formation. You have to go step to step to get to where you're in power. You can be at the lowest level and still be powerful. The deacon is a powerful person, even the choir master or the imam of it. I don't know if Islam has hierarchy. Someone, if you watch this video, you can tell me that, but I've never seen that. But I believe they do too. But they just call it a different name, or they just assign people to play certain roles in the mosque or in Islam. But Christianity, you can see the hierarchical formation from the bottom all the way to the top. All of these people have their own powers and responsibilities. The same with the government too. But they're using the name of Jesus or the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to control the masses. The best you can do, religion, is to tell people the truth. If someone is sick, tell them to go to the hospital. If someone has specific problems that you can help them with that. But those you cannot solve, tell them to do them. Teach personal responsibilities. Teach personal growth. Teach agriculture. Teach job empowerment. Teach these things. Teach individual connectedness or connectivity to resource. Teach wealth. But don't tell them that the wealth that you're teaching them is coming from God, because that's what most of you do. Tell them the wealth that you're teaching them is coming from man. It's coming from their own thinking, their own process and thought. Tell them that. That's the best way you can help advance civilization or humanity, by telling the truth. In Western countries, that's what they do. There's nothing wrong with you advancing humanity that way, just telling them the truth. It's not going to take away your job. It's not going to take away your money. When you tell them, hey, don't look up to me, hey, it's all up to you. Because the God that you're looking for is right in you. And God, as I will say for the sake of my video, it's like a guide. The Almighty is like a guide, just like your parents. Your parents guide you from the time you were little. And then even when you get older, you still call on them. For those who don't have them, That's a sad situation. But those who have parents, when they're going through difficulties or they have situation they can't understand, they pick up the phone and say, "Mom, Dad, what do you think about this situation? How can I navigate this?" It's the same thing you do with the God that you're looking for. That's why you pray. Prayer is a personal thing. You don't need to go to a church or mosque for that. You don't even need to talk to a priest, a pastor, an imam. It's all you. That's why we want these people to preach. And I think there will come a time when they will. It's not in the distant future because human beings are not going to remain in darkness. Our minds are going to open. And it is upon this generation. Every generation comes and says they blame the next generation. Like, oh, these kids of nowadays, they do this, they do that, they do this, they do that, they're not listening. You need to look at the generation that they came from. You let them down. You let your community down. And that's why we do these videos. That's why we come out and speak out. Now, this is something that they not want to hear, but the truth, no one's want to hear the truth. You know, even your best friend don't want to hear the truth. But guess what? When you keep telling them the truth, if it happens to them, or if they discover that what you've been telling them was the truth, but there are consequences now they start to listen to you. And that makes a better world. So government and religion, my friends, will remain the same. They are connected. They are the same. They both operate the same. One makes you weaker mentally, and the other ones take advantage of it. You understand? That's always been the case. In countries like Africa and in countries, any society, not just country, any society that's super religious, that takes religion as the baseline for everything that they do, the entire affairs, those societies, my friend, never advance technologically. There's no growth in those society. As far as education is concerned, they're backward. As far as technology is concerned, they're backward. As far as healthcare is concerned, they're back up. They are backward. As far as development in terms of infrastructure, infrastructure is not just road, it's buildings, like real decent buildings. They're backward. So just imagine if religion can be removed from those society, not maybe removed, but they can be there, but they cannot coexist with government of that society, that community. You will see how fast they develop. Because again, as I've said in all of my videos, the Almighty, for the sake of my video, I'll say God has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the affairs of man, that including you in your own personal life. But the Almighty, because it lives in you, would guide you to handle your affairs and handle them in ways that will better your life and subsequently the lives of your generation to come. And that's what we preach here. I preach that here because I've come to the understanding based on empirical observation and based on what I see happening in countries and based on research too. Because they'll tell you not to research. When religion can tell you do not lean on your own understanding, but lean on the all of the teachings and notion of the Almighty, you know right that there's a problem. Imagine going to a job and then someone at the job tell you whatever they've told you, all the policies they've told you here, do not listen to that. Just listen to whatever you want to listen to. Just listen to someone outside on the street, but don't follow whatever they're telling you here. You understand? Imagine how many mistakes and problems you will have on that job. Understand? And sometimes you can lean on the policies of your job, and follow them. But most of the time, your employers is not there. So your employer, they're not there on the site. They're not there with you when you're doing your job. Say if you're someone that like to be micromanaged, but most of the time you're by yourself doing your job. So what's left with you and yourself is your thinking, how you process things that will makes you stand out amongst the rest of the employers on that job. The way you look at the job, the way you're thinking as you're working, as you're doing your job, that's what you're hired for. You understand? That's what I keep preaching here. So even though you have all the information and everything about this specific job, but you still need to think how to process that job to make it work for you. So you stand out, so you're different amongst all of them. I mean, when I say all of them, I'm talking about your fellow co-workers. And that's how people get promoted on the job. And that's why you get hired on the job. Because not the employer come up with their policies, but not every aspect of that policies is going to be in your job description. There are things on there that you can fill in, and religion will not allow you to fill them in because they told you not to think beyond your own understanding. And that's the essence of the point I just gave you right there. All human beings are designed to think outside of the box. Now, if you were living in Africa now, and that's where my main focus is all the time, because the Western world, they have issue too with religion, but I think it wasn't created that way. So it's easy, they can go back and forth. And the society are not super religious. And that's the reason why they're advancing. Check out Africa, where religion, the fountain of religion was. So just the introduction of organized religion into Africa has become super religious. That's why they're not developing. All that thing you see in Africa, it's all facade. Any global crisis right now, like what's happening in the so-called Middle East with Iran and the United States, aka Israel, any global issue right now can create a catastrophic situation in Africa as far as food is concerned, as far as safety and stability are concerned. Because you think about food as simple, right? If people start to starve, guess what? If there are no food, if there's scarcity of food, water, look, it can lead to violence. And that violence can lead to instability. And that instability, my friends, can lead to war and chaos and mayhem. You understand? So you look at it as simple. What's happening in the Middle East right now? But if that situation is not brought to control, or if that situation is not addressed, look at United Nations, for instance. Is United Nations the UN, the so-called fake, weak, feckless organization? Are they talking about these things? Are they talking about food? Are they talking about water? Are they trying to address that situation right now? Nothing. They're waiting for it to blow out of proportion before you hear them talking. They'll meet, blah, blah, blah. It's all play, children's play. That's all they do in the UN Security Council. Whatever they're doing, it's all children's play. It's a show. You understand? Just see it that way. But they're not addressing none of these things. How many world government is? I'm not even going to mention Africa because Africa don't even need to work when it comes to food scarcity, oil, gas, and all these things. That shouldn't even be Africa's problem because they have all these things. No countries in Africa should even worry about food security, no, or insecurity, no, because they have enough arable land, they have enough things to survive. But guess what? Guess what? The government are not in control. When the Europeans were controlling Africa, pre-colonial era, Africa was food secure, I swear. Africa was fully secure to the point that when Europe was fighting during World War II, aka European Civil War, Africa was the true. You can check it out. Africa was the ones feeding Europe throughout that war because the Europeans were the one running it. So they make sure that all these Africans went to the farm, make sure that everything was cranking, producing, everything was working like it should. Ever since they left, everything went down the drain. They got these puppets leaders in there. None of them are addressing the full crisis right now. None of them are even talking about a crisis in Ukraine, the one in the so-called Middle East. None of them are addressing that. They're gonna wait, right? When the economy start to to crash, when things start getting worse, when there's food scarcity, that's when you see them yelling. You understand? And that's when you're going to see them begging for bread crumbs when they have everything under their feet. This is what religion has done. And you will not be surprised in Africa to find them. In fact, religion is the government in Africa. The opposite is in Western countries. Even some Western countries, the ones that are super religious, go there and see how they're living. It's not just me saying. The evidence are there. Nothing wrong with having religion because humans are religious by nature. But organized religion need to be far away from government. That way, government can function in the interest in the well-being of the people. And then those things that those people need on earth to survive, to thrive, to invent, to create, they'll be able to do them. They'll be able to achieve them for their children, children to come, for their generation, without hindrance. Because again, the Almighty has nothing to do with the affairs of men. Everything that we do here, we must do them. No one does them for them. No one will do them for them except us. We are the steward, the caretaker, and the ones that would advance this world for eternity. This world goes nowhere, and no human being can destroy this world or finish this world or end it without the making, without the connection, without the intervention of humans. Only humans can decide this. As I've always said, the greatest thing that could ever happen to anyone is not the day you're born, not the day you hire your first car, the day you graduated from high school, college, the day you became a lawyer, doctor. The greatest thing that could ever happen to you is the day you discover yourself. Because once you do that, everything will start to make sense to you. And you will understand the role that religion is playing to distract you from those things that government ought to be doing for you to make your life better and then to make the lives of others that you love and care about way better in your community and your countries. That's what we talk about here. I want to say thanks to all those people that watch my videos. I want to say thanks to all the people that continue to be subscribed to my channel. I hope that you are doing great. And most importantly, I hope that you are in good health. Thank you and have a great day.